This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, Don't mistake the new me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster alone, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, Forget the things you probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard top, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The whole team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright. And you know how to see things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like,
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid. I know it's impromptu. You guys didn't know I was getting on today. Look, I didn't know I was, well, yeah, I kind of did. I kind of knew I was getting on today. Shout out to everybody. Like, where you been, dog? Where you been, man? I kind of took the middle of the week off, and I think what I'm going to do is I probably will do, the show will be like, until probably free agency, the show will probably drop down to 2 to 3 times a week if I do it. So it'll be any 2 days. Like I don't know yet if it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. Like Tuesday, Thursday probably will be good days. But since it was Friday, we got all this Max Crosby stuff going around. And the Super Bowl is Sunday. I figured I would get on for a little bit and chop it up with you guys. What up, Rail, Nephew, Andy? Said I need a mod for this channel. Yeah, low key you do, bro. Low key you do. Just make sure you behave yourself, man. Sometimes my mods be out of control. All right, I'll give you a standard moderator. You can work your way up to a managing moderator. How's that? How's that? Midwest, what up, what up? Victor, Braylon, what's good, what's good? Anthony, Jay, let me see. Spencer in the building says, kind of surprised how many people are saying Brad needs to go get Max. I thought people would hold water for Brad and say it was a bad move. Jim Schwartz standing on business with Cleveland. I saw that. We're going to talk about that as well. What up, Cute? Cute says, so what's going on with the rumors? True or false, Max Crosby? Oh, the Shield, bro. I didn't know. So, yo, that's what's up. Dog, it's been a long, yo, did that happen this week? That must have just happened. So if you guys know, if you notice, so Eric is a moderator. The moderator used to have the wrench, but the icon that YouTube would show us is a shield. So that's what's up, bro. I like that icon way better. I like that icon way better. Let me see. What's up? What's up? It said, do you like my trade proposal in the email? Well, I don't know if I saw that, bro. Jay says, shout out to all the non-ball knowers out there. Braylon, you, bro, I don't know, B, because you be a little hostile, bro. You be a little, you know what I'm saying? You be a little hostile, my guy. So I gotta see how you be, bro. I love you, B, but you be going at people, and when you go at people, they want to blame me. With Max Crosby be coming to the Lions. Okay. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay. So since Monday that we've been on, we have seen people, the Max Crosby stuff is ridiculous, right? So let's go back. Let's go back and where it all began. Where it all began is basically Jay Glazer came out and said at the end of the season, all right, that when the Raiders shut him down, him being Max Crosby, that Max was kind of getting fed up of, like he didn't like the fact that he was getting shut down. Then they fired Pete Carroll. At this point, apparently Jay Glazer knows something we don't know. And he says that he thinks that Max Crosby is done in Vegas, that he does not want to go through another rebuild. So can you blame him though, right? Now, you guys know I'm very hard on Stafford. I'm extremely hard on Stafford. And no, I don't want to talk about his MVP, but I'm extremely hard on Stafford. And you could argue that Stafford put in more time than Max Crosby. I mean, because he has. Max, 2018, somewhere around there, somewhere around that draft. And Max and Matthew Stafford had been with Detroit for 12 years. But Max Crosby has been through, this will be, okay, his fourth coach. This will be his fourth coach in 4 years. Josh McDaniel in 2023 was the coach of the, as a matter of fact, it was 2024. 2023. Josh McDaniels, remember we played the Raiders on Monday night or whenever it was. That was like the first time we wore our Motor City muscle. We destroyed them fools. Josh McDaniel gets fired. That's coach number one, right? So then Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, they advocate for Antonio Pierce to become the head coach. He does. In that time, Josh Jacobs leaves. Devontae Adams gets traded. Okay. Antonio Pierce is fired. They hire Pete Carroll. Who thought even a Super Bowl winning champion coach was going to, at 73 years old, was going to be the right answer? Pete Carroll gets fired after 1 year. I don't know if Pete is done, but he's done in Vegas. So now, and on top of that, you have the number one pick. The Raiders are a bad organization. They are this is not an overnight rebuild. Max Crosby is stuck there. This is not an overnight rebuild. So with that being the case, Max has finally admitted, and I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate him standing up and saying, yo, Raider for life, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Raider. I want to be a Raider. And I appreciate that. But this season broke Max Crosby. Max Crosby is broken. And it does remind me a lot about like what Stafford went through. If you compare it to Stafford just for a little bit, Stafford went through a ton of coaches. Jim Schwartz was his first coach. Then he went to Jim Caldwell. Everybody liked Jim Caldwell. Then they fire him and go to Matt Patricia. So he only dealt with 3 coaches. But I think when you leave a guy like Jim Caldwell and you go to Matt Patricia and you are worse than you were when he got there, which is in no case are you supposed to be like that, right? If you fire a winning coach to bring in a coach, he's supposed to take you to the next level. Matthew Stafford he was done. Max is now done. These are the rumors coming out of the NFL world, is that Max Crosby is done. The wonderful part about Max Crosby is that he has his own podcast. He said, and you know what? I'll make a challenge to Max Crosby. Matter of fact, I should put this on Twitter. I make a challenge to Max Crosby to come out on your podcast and tell us if you said these things. If you want to be out of Vegas, and if you said the first place you want to go is Detroit. Because if you guys recall, back when all of the trade rumors and all that stuff was coming up, Max got on his show and Max said, hey, you can hear it from my mouth. So I make a challenge to Max Crosby. Let me hear it from your mouth, bro. Let me hear if this is truly the case. So now fast forward to Jay Glazer on a podcast a couple of days ago on Yahoo Sports saying that Max Crosby is done. He's done. And I have that on, I think I have it saved in my bookmarks. As a matter of fact, here I go. Yes, I do. So if you guys did not see this, I talked about this on Lion Syndicate. Here is what Jay Glazer had to say on Yahoo Sports earlier this week when it comes to Max Crosby and his standing with the Las Vegas Raiders.
There's a couple guys. If they tell you they're playing, they're playing.
I think his time with the Raiders is done.
I do.
Okay. Before the draft?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Is there a landing spot that makes sense in your opinion?
A ton of them. I'm not going to say
What
what it is yet because I'm going to try and help it out.
Sure. What kind of haul do you think realistically a Max Crosby gets in general?
He probably more than Micah. So the day it happened, no less than 20 teams called me and asked, dude, is this real? Can we get him? What's it for? I'm like, God, we're not there yet, but yes, it's real.
Do you think his time with the Raiders is done because that's a Raiders decision or because that's a Max
It's
Crosby
Max's
decision?
decision. They didn't want to do it. But he was just like, I'm not going through another rebuild. There's a couple guys.
Okay, and there you hear it. There you have it. Max Crosby, done in Vegas. I don't want to go through another rebuild. And can you blame him? Okay? Can you blame him? Now, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because Stafford was my quarterback, for my team, and Raiders fans are going to do the same thing with with Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, any beloved member of the team, especially one is coveted as Max Crosby, Matthew Stafford, Myles Garrett. They're going to get dragged through the mud by their own fan base. I was watching some basketball highlights, and LeBron James, right, drafted Cleveland native, drafted by Cleveland, plays 7 or 8 years there, decides to take his talents to South Beach. When he came back as a member of the Miami Heat to Cleveland, they booed the life out of him. He booed him, right? Burned his jerseys. They did all of that stuff. After his stint in Miami and he wins a championship there, he goes back to Cleveland and brings the title home. And everybody embraced and loved him, right? So I'm like, what if something similar applies here? Not necessarily that Max comes to Detroit and then goes back to Las Vegas, but how your fan base, the fan base of whatever team, they're going to either love you or hate you. They really are. They're going to people love Matthew Stafford for what he did, and they want him to go and find a championship. I think it's different when you ask to leave than when you are traded away and you had nothing to do with it, right? So, from my understanding, according to what the chat is saying, Max Crosby has a no trade clause in his contract. I don't know if that is true or not. Spotrac does not clarify if he does or not, at least not from the free version. So you guys can tell me if that is the case. I believe it's true, but if that's the case, then, and we had this discussion on Lion Syndicate, then Max can pretty much dictate where he wants to go. And to be honest with you, if there's no bad blood between the Raider organization and Max, they should allow him to go where he chooses. The same way we did with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, Carolina was willing to offer us more than the LA Rams were, but he didn't want to go to Carolina, right? The Indianapolis Colts, I really think they were involved in it, but there's no proof of that. So I don't know how big the market for Matthew Stafford was, but, he's now a Super Bowl champion and an NFL MVP, which is crazy. So now I think just to touch on Matthew Stafford for a little bit. So at this point, I never wanted him to retire a Lion. And at this point, you can't retire a Lion. You have to retire a Ram. You've done more as a LA Ram than you have a Detroit Lion. Now, Golf, on the other hand, will probably retire a Lion unless we throw him out, throw him away, and say he's 34, 35 years old. Somebody need a bridge quarterback, and we jettison off there. Make a basketball channel. Okay, trees. So here's where we are with the basketball channel. All right. So Piston Syndicate is somewhere in the future. It's somewhere in the future. All right. So it will happen. I just don't know when, but it is in the future. Okay. As far as so that'll be the basketball channel. This channel here is going to encompass everything Detroit, everything Michigan. The problem is is good help is hard to find. Let's put it like that. Good help is hard to find. So I am literally a one-man show, and because I'm much more versed in the Lions than I am in any other sport, that's why most of our shows are Lions. And when somebody contacts me to be part of this, they like, I want to talk about the Lions. So, I mean, who doesn't, right? So, but a basketball Pistons syndicate is loading. But I do watch enough of the NBA, man, where I can see myself in about a year or two, if that, talk about the NBA, because I'm starting to watch it again now. Kelly, what up, though? What's up? Happy Friday indeed. Okay, so Jim Schwartz, should we sign him? Yeah. So Ned, the Pistons channel is in the works. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not ready to run it, and I don't know if it's ready to be run. But trust me, it's in the works. It'll be called Pistons Syndicate for sure. I'm not even a Pistons fan, but I wouldn't mind watching a basketball channel from you. Hey, that's what's up, Trees. That's what's up, man. I appreciate that. If you do a Pistons Syndicate, I need to be a co-host or something. Yeah, man. It would be when I get more versed in the Pistons. Like, you know, I'm kind of fresh, but it's kind of funny how you get to tap right back in. Because 20 years ago, I was all in. I mean, for years, I was a Pistons fan, and I'm still a Pistons fan, but I was locked in. My homie, man, I was like starting to drift toward the Lions, and he would be locked into the Pistons. So I used to go over his house. We would play NBA Live like 95, 96, 97, Jordan versus Bulls versus Blazers. Like, we played all of that stuff, man. And then it was something I think, and sometimes I have this fear about the Lions. And I've been having this fear the last couple of years. I'm not even kidding you, man. The Pistons broke me. They broke me in 2005. We're trying to go back to back, right? So the Pistons go back to back in the 80s, and we almost did it again. And I'm watching. I got my Chauncey Billups the lightning outfit. Remember the Pistons had like the lightning letters and stuff like that. So I'm wearing my Chauncey. I got the whole outfit on, the shorts, and it was authentic too. It was the Stitch Boy. So I got and we're in this spot in the Star Southfield, which is now closed. And this spot was at the front of the Star. So, you know, if you came off 12 Mile was the front of the Star, and the parking lot in the back was the back of the Star. Most of my friends and stuff, we always went to the back because getting into the front. So we would come off like the Northwestern Highway and come into the Star that way. So this particular place was in the front of the Star. And I'm watching the Pistons playoff game. They're playing, and they're in the finals against the Spurs, and Robert Horry hits the shot, and like, I'm broke. When they lost, I was broken, and I just kind of faded away. And then I started to watch the Going to Work Pistons unravel, the departure of Rip. I saw a clip of Rip Hamilton in Chicago in a Chicago Bulls uniform. I was like, oh my God, I forgot that even happened. Chauncey getting shipped off to Denver, and us getting Allen Iverson and all of that stuff, man. It was crazy. So like the late 2010s, And I think it also coincided with the first time, you know, I got married. So I got married in 06, and, you know, that was, so that whole like 04, 05, then I got married in 06, and it was like I didn't have any time to watch basketball. So now I'm back into it, man. Shout out to the Pistons for being good. You know, I was paying attention when they were losing 28 in a row and stuff like that. And, you know, I would see Cade here and there, but now watching the Pistons, I'm like, oh, you know, I can get right back into it just like that. So shout out to those guys. You know what, bro? Ned says we will help you, D. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be one of them guys that, you know, sneaky good moves. I don't want to be one of those guys. I don't want to be just making like whatever I talk about, I want to be passionate about, right? So back to the Lions. Every year, man, like this year was tough. This year was tough, man. I've had several conversations with my wife, especially from Christmas on of 2020, like when the Lions were eliminated from playoff contention. I've had so many conversations with her about, yo, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know how long I want to do it, because I promise you I will never talk about anything just for money. If my passion isn't number one, I will not talk about it. And I could feel the Lions like draining my soul, man, because you've got 2023 and what happened there, and you're sitting and you're like, I'm not thinking about where we came from. I'm thinking about where we are now. And that's why I'm so hard on Brad Holmes. I am so hard on him. I am so tough on him because you see what's going on. You're like, yo, this is what we need, dog. Go get it done. And that's why Max Crosby, we are talking about it. And it's funny how this conversation came full circle, but we're sitting there and we have it in our grasp, and you trade for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then you go into 2024, and what was the best you did? The best you did was like Marcus Davenport. You know what I'm saying? Then the Carlton Davis thing, I didn't even get a chance to read that because I've been so busy. But I forgot to read the Carlton Davis situation. So I think I did bookmark it, and maybe we'll talk about that as well. So in the week that we haven't, or the couple of days that we haven't been on, comes out that Carlton Davis wanted to return to a Detroit Lion, become a Detroit Lion. It wasn't the money, allegedly. It was the way the contract was structured. But I probably will make that video on Lion Syndicate, but we can talk about it here. What's funny seeing you watch, it says, it's funny seeing you watch my main sport when I know you as the Lions guy. You know what's funny, bro? Hey, Braylon, didn't they, though? Didn't they? You know what I think it was? Because the NBA was goofy yesterday. The NBA was goofy, and I think it was the trade deadline. Like, I'm watching the Suns and Golden State Warriors, and I'm like, dog, these clowns, they couldn't even get 200 points. You could literally cue up the Benny Hill music, and if you could see it, it was back and forth, turnover. It was ridiculous, bro. And you know what I think it was? I think it was the trade deadline, because I was watching. My son and I were watching the Pistons, and the new guy, I forgot his name, but the guy we just traded for, right? He looked. I was like, look at his face. He looked like he looks like he lost, like he's sad. And he was like, yeah, he does look sad, right? So I think yesterday was a day of. Just the NFL was so the NBA trade deadline was yesterday, or it was yesterday, and it was goofy. It was just like a goofy day. So I think that's it. How about we bring in guys from the UFL, for a center? What up, Rob says? Kelly says my breaking point with the Lions was in 2018. I had to check myself emotionally when it came to the Lions after being a fan for decades. Okay, Kelly, what does that mean? What does that mean? I would love for Kelly to call in. Kelly been rocking with the show a while. I want to put a voice to the face, or to the icon. I would love to hear Kelly. But Kevin, that's his name, B. So I would love to hear that, though. As long as they smack the Knicks today, I'll be fine. Yeah, I don't know. See, because what happened to Jalen Duren? What happened to him? I was like, was he even out there? So I don't know, but we missed him, bro. We missed him big time. But yeah, hey, Wizards was hitting everything. They was hitting everything, bro. It's crazy. All right. I'm not sure if you know Carcino, but he basically thinks the NBA is trying to sabotage the Pistons, especially with trades. Really? Did not know that. What up, Jay Smooth? What's up? Okay. All right. So, hot take, trade for Crosby or Hendrickson. Okay, so let's talk about, let's get the Max Crosby thing out of the way. Okay? I've been talking about this since it came out in great detail. So you have 2 live streams on Lion Syndicate talking about this. If Max Crosby says he wants to be a Detroit Lion, Brad needs to make that happen. So let's get to the main topic of this live stream. Is it time for the Detroit Lions to say, forget them picks? Okay? And I am becoming extremely passionate about like nonsense. And here's what I mean. Lions fans have gone into this protective mode of wanting to protect what they have. They're so scared and so nervous of going back to the blackout days and the 0-16 days and the times that we were irrelevant. Okay, they are going to miss their opportunity to stay not only relevant but Super Bowl champions, to retain a championship, right? So here we got examples all around us. nothing is guaranteed. Nothing in life, nothing is the NFL, in the NFL. The LA Rams, so let's get into it. So you guys know, unless you've been under a rock, that there's Max Crosby rumors galore. And for the first time, honestly, I think that they are the most serious they've ever been. If you go back to 2024, before he signed the 3-year extension, he was the hottest ticket in 2024 as the trade deadline neared. At this point, Antonio Pierce was still the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. They had just lost Devontae Adams, and Josh Jacobs was already in Green Bay. This is the closest, the most legit, I think, that the Max Crosby rumors have been. Now, Max Crosby has his own podcast. He's told us before, you don't got to get it from anywhere else. You can come to me, so I'm calling him out. Okay, Max, Little Lion Syndicate Sports Detroit is calling you out, bruh. You got your own podcast. I think it airs on Tuesdays or whatever day, Edge or whatever it is. Let us know. Let us know 2 things. 1, are you done in Vegas? And 2, would your first choice be the Detroit Lions? With that being the case, if Max Crosby, his first choice is to be a Detroit Lion, Brad Holmes is obligated to make that happen, period. He's obligated to make that happen. We are in, and that's why we're having a conversation about, is it time for the Detroit Lions to say forget them picks? Now, I have my thoughts, and I am of the mindset that it might be too little too late for that opportunity. Max is going to require at least 1 first-round pick. Could Brad finagle it and lower it? Could he bargain with them and lower it from a first-round pick? Probably not. I'm not giving 2 for an almost 30-year-old man whose name is not Myles Garrett. However, I might give you 1 if the deal is right. But if Max Crosby says he wants to be a Lion first and foremost, meaning I have a no trade clause in my contract, which means that the Las Vegas Raiders cannot send me anywhere. They have to send me where I want to go. All right? So either where it works for both of us. See, usually in a trade, it's a dump. Go ask Jared Goff. He know all about getting dumped on. He know all about that. That's why he built a no trade clause in his current contract, the one he signed with the Detroit Lions. Now he can dictate what happens next. He's not going to be blindsided like he was 4 years ago. I don't think we would do that anyway. So when it comes to Max Crosby, you get to pick where you want to go. And he say, out of all the beauties at the ball, I want to pick this one. This is the one I would pick first. It just matters. Does she want me or not? That's it. So is it time for the Detroit Lions to say forget them picks? I'm on the fence about forgetting them picks because I feel like your prime opportunity has already passed. However, I'm under the mindset with this. If you think that Max Crosby would help you win a Super Bowl, you get it done. And like I said, we have examples to follow. The guy that left our team. So the LA Rams did not have a pick for, I thought it was 6. Then I thought it was 4. But somebody said in the comment section that they didn't have a first round pick for 6 years. I think that's right. And it was going to be pushed to 8 years if they would have had their way and gotten Brian Burns. So after, I forgot who it was that the first couple of picks were taken away. The second batch of first-round picks were taken away for Jalen Ramsey. The third first-round picks were taken away from Matthew Stafford. And the LA Rams are so forget them picks that they were willing to give up 2 more firsts for Brian Burns, which would have been 8 years of no first. And you know what they got out of that? A Super Bowl, which is something that has eluded the Detroit Lions for 60 years now. We're at the point where how long are we going to build? How long before we swing for the fences and just live with the results? See, this is I think this is amazing to me, how Lions fans have built in their mind a dynasty, that Brad Holmes was building a dynasty. And I think y'all got backhanded in the face this offseason. This season, y'all got a pimp named Slick back. That's what happened to y'all. Y'all got backhanded in the face. And now, y'all thought we was dynasty building. We trying to build a roster right now. We didn't even make the playoffs. So all this talk of dynasty, and I think for the first time, your eyes are starting to be open to what this team really is. So here's where I'm at. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. The reality is that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, as of right now, have 2 years left on their deal. In that 2 years, they have to earn an extension from Sheila, which means that they have to please her in a way that she will extend them. What is that? Is it a Super Bowl? Is it another NFC North championship? Is it a playoff game again? What is it that's going to make Sheila say, hey, I believe in this regime. I'm going to give you more time? Or could Max help that to say, hey, you know what? We're at the end of the road. We're darn near desperation right now. And I don't think the Lions are there yet, but they're on the cusp of desperation where they are desperate to save their jobs. Now, these guys are not going to get fired, but they're not going to get renewed either. As of this moment, they're not, and only Sheila knows what that milestone is. But if I'm Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, and Max Crosby says, I want to be here, I make that happen. I make it happen. You know why? Because this is my Titanic moment. This is me playing with my brothers on the Titanic, the violin, and saying, it's been an honor. It's been an honor playing with you gentlemen, because you ain't going to play no more, bruh. Look, Matthew Stafford won MVP after never winning into Detroit, and he never was. Les Snead and Sean McVay get extended after coming off a near Super Bowl run, their third near Super Bowl run in the 5 years. And you know what the Detroit Lions have done? Oh, we've won 2 playoff games. Oh, we got 2 NFC North titles. Oh, we went to a NFC Championship game. Stuff that we should have been doing many, many decades ago. But we do it, and now we are back to not square one, but we're back. We're in a retool for sure. Lions got a lot of work to do. However, I'm going to put this on all the Brad Holmes slappies that want to praise him for everything he does. You want to give Brad Holmes the greatest general manager title that the Detroit Lions have ever seen. That's the title you want to give him, right? Well, I challenge Brad Holmes. I'm going to put a public challenge to Bradley Mathias that you want to be labeled as the greatest general manager the Lions have ever seen. You know how you get that done? You fix the holes that you created on this team, and you trade for Max Crosby. How's that? You want to be labeled as the greatest general manager, the Detroit Lions. Are you truly worthy of the title, greatest general manager the Lions have ever seen? Because you know what, bub? I don't think you are. I think the guy that drafted Barry Sanders deserves that. Okay? But I'm not going to give you that. You want it from me? You go, you fix this team. That means we need a center. That means we may or may not need a left tackle. Right? That means we need you paid Kirby Joseph. Maybe, or did you do the due diligence to know about his knee? Right? You paid these guys. So I'm not giving you that. You want it from me? Fix this team, trade for Max Crosby, win a Super Bowl. Or you could just win a Super Bowl. But if you truly are worthy, you're going to take all of this. See, y'all thought he was just a magician. Let Brad cook. Well, you know what? Now, Brad, this is the perfect time. You got the recipe right in front of you. You got all the ingredients to cook your best meal yet. Trade for Max Crosby, fix this O-line, fix the secondary, get a linebacker, fix the defensive line. That, magnifique, bro. You want this? You get it. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right. We got some super chats. Got a couple. Shout out to 5530 with the super chat says, what do you think of a 1 and 2 picks and Brian Branch for Max? Okay, well, Brian Branch can't be traded because he's hurt. And he also, even if he wasn't hurt, he would have very little value. He wouldn't move the needle because he's about to be a free agent. So he would be like a cherry on top. And I'm not giving you, you know what? I would give you a first rounder. I would give you a second rounder this year and a first rounder next year. That wouldn't be terrible. All right, Will with the super chat says, I have Max Crosby news that's good. He talked to Penei Sewell in the Pro Bowl about coming to Detroit. Can you pull up the video, Derek? Wait a minute. Will, Wait a second. Wait a minute. First of all, wow, that's crazy. And I need the video. Raw Detroit, what up, though? What up, though? I needs that video, bro. I need that video. You could, Will, you can, are you on Twitter? Okay, what's up, Boogie? Says, how do you feel about Kirby's situation with his knee being probably not able to be 100% next season? You know, I feel bad for Kirby Joseph because Kirby, to me, is a dog, man. And I feel bad for him. I am a little curious to know who knew. How long did they know? Did they know before he got extended? Did he know? You know what I'm saying? But I feel horrible for him because he had such a great year after he got paid and disappeared last year and may never be the same. Okay, can we afford to pay these players? Gibbs, let me see, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. Okay, Raw. Here's what I was saying yesterday on Lion Syndicate. Check it out, bro. All right, let's take the first player you said. Okay, so let's have a segment. All right, so we got a good question from Raw Detroit in the comment section. Says, can the Lions afford to play these players? Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. So we went into detail on Lion Syndicate about what I think is going to happen. And let's take these players one by one. So I don't know, Raw, if this has anything to do with getting Max or players of his caliber or players that can move the needle. But let's start from the back and go. Gibbs is automatic. He's automatic. Lions are allegedly making him the number one priority this offseason. The beauty about Gibbs is the fact that his extra money, his new contract, would not go into effect for another 2 seasons. We have yet to pick up his 5th-year option. So what the Lions could do, because they're in quite a pickle in 2026, they could sign him to an extension, get him early, let him play year 4, let him play year 5. The same thing they're doing with Hutch. Hutch is now entering year 5, a.k.a. his 5th-year option, a.k.a. the last year of his rookie contract. His new money is in effect next season. So that's, can they afford him? Gibbs, yes. Jack Campbell, exact same scenario. And I think these two guys are beyond a shadow of a doubt going to be here. So the same exact scenario for Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now here's where it gets good. When it comes to Brian Branch, let's do Sam Laporta first. Sam Laporta, we had a conversation before. It was J-Mo, Hutch, Gibbs, Laporta, Branch, and Campbell. And who's the odd man out? And the number one overwhelming response was Sam Laporta. I think that changed because of who our new OC is, Mr. 13 Personnel. Sam Laporta, his market value, however, is $17 million. Is he going to get $17 million coming off an injury? If he balls out, he will. If he goes back to that rookie form, he will 100% get $17 million. And with the new system, the new OC that we're going to have, I think now Sam Laporta is the end man. That leaves us with one guy, Brian Branch. I think we can see Brian Branch, the Lions could depart from him if they don't decide to extend him, if they don't decide to franchise tag him, which we don't do. Very few teams in the NFL use the franchise tag, and the last time we did it was Ziggy Ansah 2014. Brian Branch might be a great candidate to do that, but also you're paying a certain amount of salary for that. That could be more than what you think the player should really get. So can we afford to do it? I think we can. And I also think the salary cap is a myth. I think it's a myth because, like I said on my other channel, okay, the Lions are going to lose out on Max Crosby to a team that on paper cannot trade for Max Crosby. On paper, this team is not going to be able to trade for Max, but they're going to get it done. So can we pay all of them? I think we can. Ned says we need Laporta. We missed him big time catches and blocking. He blocks like a lineman. 100% he does. Gibbs is a priority now. I believe Campbell is a priority as well. Linebacker of the year. Shout out to Jack Campbell. I did not watch the honors yesterday, so he won linebacker of the year. I didn't even know that was a category. Great for him. The dude is an animal. He is 100% an animal, bro. I was like, yo, I was not aware of your skill, my man. So 100%. And he just made himself a bag yesterday. He already made himself a bag. He's been the leading tackler like all year for the Detroit Lions. He was getting the bag anyway. But we already knew that, Raw, because those were the 2 first-round picks, and they loved Jack Campbell immediately, bro. They fell in love with this dude immediately before he was even drafted. So, and that's funny that the first linebacker that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell took in the first round winds up being an absolute stud. So I don't know. For me, I think Brian Branch, due to the injury, due to the new offensive coordinator we have, I think he is going to be the odd man out. Both of these guys are coming back from injury. One is a back injury. One is an Achilles. Both of them can cripple you for the rest of your career. We don't know. It's going to be I think Sam has a leg up because of the scheme that we're going to be running. But I think I don't think we're going to know for sure. And like, how can they get back? How soon can they get back? If Sam Laporta's market value is $17 million. Brian Branch, his market value, even with the injury, is 20. It's 20. If they both come back and they're ready to go kick off, it's going to be I still think Laporta is going to have the edge up because of Drew Petzing. So I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, I will be right back. Give me 1 second. Charles with the super chat says, internet would break if the Lions traded for Crosby. Yeah, internet, yeah, you 100% it would. Brad, yeah. I'll be right back. Whoa, man, I had to trim my mustache hair, bro. It get wild, and it was tickling me in the face, man. All right, let me pop out let me see. I said the Lions need to draft Jack Campbell, and he now is a dog in Detroit. Glad he came to fruition. Yeah, hey, why don't you get Max Crosby here too, bro? Let me see. If they want to sell tickets, that will surely boost sales. Thanks, Greg, for that segment. Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Let me see. Brad is weak. A guy that wants to come here won't get it done. I think he would I think we would get much weaker. Okay, I think we would get much weaker. How many picks do we lose? And overall depth would suffer greatly. See, Gavin, you know what, bro? Or what is that? Gavis Con? I'm like, look, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, bro. I do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Not from you. Not from you. I got no issue with you, bro. I don't want to hear it. We've been talking about that for years. We've been talking about that for years, bro. And we ain't got no better. How many picks? Whose fault is that, bro? That's Matthias's fault. So Matthias can fix this. The Lions are not beyond fixing. It's gonna take you know what? Would you like to see a magic trick? That's what Brad is going to have to do. If Brad truly deserves greatest general manager of all time, the pickle that he got our team into, he get us out and make us better. See, I'm over all that, bro. I'm over all of that. Because what did you do, man? Well, not you. What did Brad do? You went and got Terrion Arnold, right? You went and got Ennis Rakestraw. You could have got a defensive end anywhere in the market, but you decided not to. And when you signed Marcus Davenport, twice I have an issue with that, bro. I do not want to hear any more about what the Lions can't do. I want it to get done. That's what I want to hear. Because you know what Brad can do? Pay everybody he drafted $1 billion. That's what you can do, bro. And we still are not in a position to win a Super Bowl. We haven't sniffed a Super Bowl for 2 seasons. I am overhearing what Brad Holmes cannot do and what we don't want to do. And this is not a shot at you, my friend. This is a shot at the entire regime and fan base. Y'all want to take these little dink and dunk approaches. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know what YOLO means, right? You only live once. There's only one Super Bowl champion every year. Out of 32 combatants, only one is victorious. The Lions have never been that one. So you know what I want to see? I want to see a regime that's not willing to do whatever it takes to win one. I don't want a regime trying to build a dynasty without one Super Bowl. I don't want that because you're so busy thinking about the future that you're missing the now, bro. And that's what happened in 2023. Brad Holmes was so busy building a dynasty that he missed the boat that was right. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Oh, shoot. There was our chance right there. Dang. We out of time. We done missed the boat, bro. We got the Seahawks and the Patriots. The Patriots had the 3rd overall pick in 2024, and in less than 2 calendar years, they are in the Super Bowl, bro. I do not want to hear it from anyone. I'm over it because we've done that already. We've done that already. Do something different. Take some risks. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these shenanigans, bro. That's where this team is. Shenanigans. Chappelle Show says, let's give up a top 10. Let's give up a ton of top 10 players for depth practice squad players that don't help. If Raiders ask for 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, are you going to make that trade? No, I'm not, Jason. I've already been very clear about that. I'm not trading 2 firsts. Unless your name is Myles Garrett, I'm not giving you 2 firsts. I'm not giving you 2 firsts. Not coming off. But what's amazing to me, though, is that do you think Matthew Stafford was worth 2 firsts? Do you think that? So, I mean, whatever you respond is your answer. Do you think Matthew Stafford was worth 2 firsts? And look what happened. Now, I'm not doing that for Max Crosby because of Max Crosby is coming off an injury. He'll be 30 years old very soon. I'm not doing that. Myles Garrett is the only person I would do that for. Braylon says, F the culture, it's time to win. Caitlin says, sign Crosby and lose 2 studs on RD and some. Okay, bro, who are we giving up? Who are we giving up? Like, we have to think about this. We ain't losing nobody. We're not losing anybody. And who would you label a stud? Give me a stud whose name is not Aiden Hutchinson or Jack Campbell. Give me a stud on defense. You can't say Brian Branch because he hurt. You can say he was a stud. You can't say he is because we don't know what he's going to do. Kirby Joseph, he was a stud. We don't know what he's going to do. So outside of Aiden Hutchinson and Jack Campbell, name a stud on our defense. Chappelle So says, bro, Lions fans are the type of people who take the long way to get through the suburbs because it's safer than walk 10 feet through the hood, don't take risks, and got to make it hard. You know what, Chappelle Show? That's probably why I'm like, look, I ain't from the streets, but I'm from the hood. Grew up on the west side of Detroit, bro. Greenfield, West Chicago. Glass bottle right up there. Church's Chicken, CVS, Omega Coney Island. right? I ain't about the streets, but I'm from the hood, bro. So I'll go right back and I'm straight hood. I'm straight hood. But I like that. I like that, bro. Let me see. I love Max in Detroit. What's a realistic look at edge? Because Brad is AKA Captain Dollar General. It's Henderson, Aziz Ojolari, Ojabo, Phillips, Mac, Bosa. Bro, none of them. None of them, bro. Because he had his shot at 80% of those guys. Aziz, Phillips, Mac, Bosa, Arden Key. He had a shot at all them guys. Chappelle Show. Stop it, bro. That's enough to get you put in timeout. Stop it. My 300-pound cousin just fell down the stairs and broke both legs. We're hoping Brad signs him. I know that's a joke, but I also don't want to laugh at it. Okay. Lions hard count in the building. What up, man? Says, I think Stafford was worth 2 picks. Look what we got and look what they got. So I think the Crosby thing could work. We are in the LA situation. We need that one piece to put us over the edge. And you know what, bro? Here's my take. I feel like we need more than that. I feel like we were there at one point, 2023 specifically, 2024. I think that, and now I think we're probably 3 to 4. We're 3 to 4, if that. Defensive end, right? We're going to need potentially a left tackle. We need a center. We don't know what's happening with our safety room. Have no idea. So that's what makes me even more upset about this dynasty talk. If you have, and that's why I'm like, listen, I might be one of the rare ones that Green Bay being a division rival aside, I love the Micah Parsons trade. I love that they traded for him. They were killing folks with him out there. The moment he gets hurt, they can't win a game. That is the epitome of game-changing player. They owned us with Micah Parsons, right? Couldn't beat us. You can't beat the Detroit Lions. Go get Micah Parsons, right? Even though he got hurt, I'm still all for the trade, bro. I don't, if I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, I do not regret that trade at all. You cannot, look, injuries happen. They happen. You can't stop them. You don't want them to happen to any player, let alone your best player, let alone a player you trade for, let alone a player that you paid. You don't want that to happen. But the odds are that it does. It does. But guess what? Micah Parsons will be there next year and the year after that and the year after that. And as far as I know, this is the first major injury he's had. I think he's going to be all right. I mean, because how can we say something about Brian Branch and we support Brian Branch? And I'm not saying we have to support Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers, but the logic Lions fans use to me is so biased. It's so biased, right? We're going to be like, oh, Micah Parsons going to come back and he's going to be whack. But Brian Branch, he's going to come back and he's going to be the best safety ever. Like, why? Because he played for our team? Come on, man. Come on, man. So I think that when it comes to the Detroit Lions, okay, that we are in a position that we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision, and we need to make a decision on how much do we want to win? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Because guess what? What up, D? If Brad doesn't make this happen, he should be fired. Okay, so here's where I'm at. If Max Crosby got on, okay, let's have a segment. Let's have a segment. All right, Lions fans, I need your honest input. We've been having, the whole week has been consumed with Max Crosby talk. And if you don't know, it's because Jay Glazer comes out and says that his time with the Raiders is likely done. He doesn't want to go through another rebuild. It'll be his 4th coach in 4 years. Insane. In absolute insanity. All his homeboys are gone. Everybody he rolled with, they don't file new teams. Some traded, some left in free agency. 3 coaches fired. Josh McDaniel, Antonio Pierce, Pete Carroll. The dude is cooked. He's done. He's had enough. Then you come to, allegedly, there are some insiders with information that Crosby, his first selection, if he was to land in a new team, is Detroit. He literally wants to come home. That's what the reports are. Okay. So the question that I have for Lions fans is, are we beyond? I believe that we're right on the brink of it might be too late to forget them picks. Or we had a forget them picks opportunity, which was 2023, 2024. You could argue even going into 2025. But then we lost Frank Ragnow. Taylor Decker is undecided. We lost both our starting safeties. Our linebacker, Alex Anzalone, is about to go. And through all of that, we still need an edge rusher. All of that, because the depth piece that we signed had a career year and is probably going to A, outprice himself for our team, or B, not be what we want to pay him. So I want your honest opinion as a Lions fan. If Max Crosby, who told us to come to him for, if you don't have to hear it from a source, you can hear it from the source. If he said, I'm saying this on my Edge podcast, I'm done with the Raiders. Here's why. Or he don't give you an explanation at all. What's these reports, Max, about Detroit being your first place? I love to play for Dan Campbell. That would be my first selection. I'm from there. I get to go home. I get to help my state team do something they've never done, win a Super Bowl, right? Max Crosby comes out and says this, and Brad Holmes doesn't do it. How would you feel? How would you feel? If Max came out and said that, would you want Brad to move mountains to get it done, right? This is what I will tell you, and I guarantee that this happens. Max Crosby is not going to go to a washed-up loser team, A, because he just came from a washed-up loser team, B, he has a no-trade clause in his contract, and C, he wants to win, right? So that excludes a lot of teams. The teams that would probably have money for him and the capital for him, beyond a shadow of a doubt, could trade for him. You know what? You know what, though? You've got teams like the Philadelphia Eagles. You know how he'll do it. You got teams like the Rams. You know less, forget them picks to do it. You got teams like the 49ers. I'm hearing reports that the 49ers are in on this. But you know where I could see him going? The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys created some capital by moving Micah, and they're going to possibly replace him with Max Crosby. Right? And we about sick of the Cowboys. Or aren't we? We all sick of the Cowboys. But if he says, and Charles with the super chat says, Brad's out of time, he needs to do this deal. Appreciate the super chat. I have been saying this for months. I've been saying this for years. How 2025 was going to be the season that really told us all we need to know about the Detroit Lions, about this regime. Brad got up there for the first time in his tenure as Brad Holmes and GM and coach, humbled. This was the first time I have ever seen him humbled since he got initially hired. He was humbled this year. How humbled? Is he humbled enough? Now, you might be arguing, well, Derek, this is stupid. We don't have the money. We don't have the capital. Guess what? We don't have either one of those things anyway. Lions are negative $7 million without signing Max Crosby. When it comes to but they can create space. They got to do it anyway. The contracts are just there. They're just there. Saints a couple years ago, $100 million over the salary cap. Now, I'm not saying I want Brad Holmes to send us back to the Stone Age by being ridiculous. I'm not saying that. But I also don't believe that he couldn't pull this off in a manner that would balance the now with the future. Eventually, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to a point where somebody that he drafted, somebody that he loves, got to go. Got to go. Let me give y'all a little insight, right? All the money that Brad Holmes has paid, he's drafted fantastic. All the money that he's paid out, 9 people, $1 billion in contracts. The fact that we are negative $7 million next season. In just over a month, we will be in the start of the 2026 season, and that's when that negative $7 million will happen. With all of that, we haven't won a Super Bowl. We're over the cap. Like, we are no closer to winning a Super Bowl, being $1 billion to 9 people. In addition to that, you still got to find a way to pay Jahmyr Gibbs in 2 years, because So Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, those are the last two people right now, in my opinion, that's going to make any money with the Detroit Lions. The 2020, and here's another reason why, if I'm Brad and I'm Dan Campbell, specifically Dan Campbell, if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm like, listen, man, we got to sit down. Well, let's lock ourselves in a room and let's have a serious conversation about, could we make Max Crosby work? Could we balance the now with the future? Because guess what, Brad? Need I remind you, our future may be dependent on a move like this. The dudes only have 2 years under contract. So what would you prefer? Would you to go down? As I said it before, and I'll say it as many times as I need to. This is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell Titanic moment. One of these brothers, they both on the Titanic. One of them might get a lifeboat, and one gonna go down with the ship. I'm telling you right now. This is the time that you tell your comrade it's been an honor playing with you. Let's go get this thing. We've been too busy worried about dynasties as opposed to winning one. Let's get that first one out the way. Then we can build toward the dynasty talk. To utter the word dynasty and you ain't won a Super Bowl ever is absolutely asinine. So, how would you feel if Max Crosby vocally, publicly comes out and says, directly from his mouth, I don't want to be a Raider anymore. My first pick would be the Detroit Lions, and I'll do you one better. Brad Holmes, come get me. What would you do if Brad is, define aggressive. Define aggressive, because I don't know. What do you mean by being aggressive? Because I'm not really sure about what you're talking about. And what? How many teams in the National Football League got 2 elite air rushers? If Brad started doing that, tell me you wouldn't want to. Come on, dog. Come on, man. We got to stop all that. If Brad hits you with the define aggressive, hold on. If he hits you with this right here, come on, dog. If he define aggressive. Now, Max Crosby done already said that he wanted to be a Lion. He done said he wanted out of L.A. He told you to come get him. And if he hits you with this face, you going to want to hit him. I'm just saying. I don't condone violence. I don't condone it. I'm a man of using my words, okay? However, if he hit you with this face, the defined aggressive face, this is what you gonna say. Brad Holmes, I got the definition of aggressive. The definition of aggressive is trading for Max Crosby, fixing this team, and owning the title. The greatest general manager the Detroit Lions have ever seen. Let me see what you got, Brad. Let me see what you got. Because I guarantee you, we act like this is our money. We act like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I love these general managers that don't give a care about it, bruh. As long as they win. Isn't that what you want? Don't you want a team that's willing to do whatever it takes as long as it results in the ultimate mountaintop win? Come on, man. Especially from our team who's never been there. Once we get there and we get to check that little box off, everything changes after that. But until your franchise was relevant and a champion when your mother was born, and you are now a 46-year-old man with a 16-year-old son, and we still talking about a place that we've never been. The Super Bowl is 60 years old, or 6 decades, or a little over half a century, and we still talking about define aggressive. Come on, dog. I'm cooking here. Let me see what Brad Holmes is cooking this offseason. Come on, man. Come on, man. Every year, the Lions are going to get more and more and more and more desperate. Every single year, we're going to be begging and scratching and clawing. Bring us a Super Bowl. We don't care who you are. We act like that these guys are in our family, bro. And I love Dan Campbell. I love our team. I love the guys like I know them. I don't know them. That's the reality. Stafford said, I don't know you. Stafford said, look, I'm in LA now. Y'all chilling. Stafford, how does it feel to be cheered for from your Detroit Lions fans? I'm going to keep it a buck. They ain't really have to do that, though. Because you know what? I ain't thinking about them. I'm not thinking about them. You see this Lombardi trophy? I didn't get this. I'm not thinking about them. Come on, man. We got to stop with all this emotion. Get it done. I don't care who you are. I don't care if Geno Smith, if Marcus Davenport, I don't care if the mystery man wins a Super Bowl. I do not care as long as the Detroit Lions do it. That's all that matters. Would I like it to be Jared Goff? Absolutely. Dan Campbell? Absolutely. Look, you can throw in Holmes. Would I like it to be our team? Would I have loved it for it to be Josh Reynolds? Yes. Yes. But the fact of the matter, it ain't. Every year, do you understand that every year we get further, we get deeper and deeper and deeper in the history books for no reason, for the wrong reason. We almost had an expansion team make it to their first championship game. They had a defense that could have taken them all the way. How embarrassing would that have been? You call Ben Johnson making a Super Bowl embarrassing, Matthew Stafford winning a Super Bowl embarrassing. What would be embarrassing is for a team. It was already embarrassing enough that an 0-2 team in your division who your coordinator went over and became a head coach, they made the playoffs. Statistically improbable, right? It was super embarrassing that an 0-3 team in a tougher conference made a playoff appearance and won the playoff game. And you sitting up there, you started 1-1. You know when the last time the Lions started 2-0? Maybe that's our Super Bowl. Maybe that's what we have to look forward to in 2026. It's 2-0. 2-0. It's always 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Come on, dog. And we sitting there, and then on top of that, you know, it would have been super embarrassing to have the Houston Texans, a franchise that's under 25 years old, make a Super Bowl. The Lions are 92 years old. 92. If your great-grandparents or grandfather was born in 1934, they're on their way to 92 years old. They're sitting in their recliner. They're eating whatever they're eating and watching their TV shows. And they came to be when the Lions came to be. And we've never won, but at least they got to see a championship. But let's not pretend and act like those matter to us, because they don't. If I wasn't alive, I don't care. And that's a book. My mom was born the last time the Lions won a championship. She was a baby when they won a championship. Not like a teenager or a young lady. She was a baby, which is insane. No, Lions, the Mystery Men, man. The 1999 movie with Ben Stiller and Paul Rubens and those guys. 2 first-round picks and a 4th round plus McNeil to make the money work. Hey, man, how do you feel about this? Eric, I'm going to keep it real, bro. The Aleem McNeil thing, that's intriguing. It's intriguing. I mean, he's been our best interior tackle for a long time. But that is intriguing. It would be more of a money dump than anything. And then you got Tyleek and what you could do in free agency and what you could do in the draft. I mean, would you have a second-year player and a rookie on the D-line in the interior? Is there somebody that you can go get? Let me see. I mean, look, Calais Campbell. He like 48 years old, bro. He like 100. Calais Campbell. I mean, throw Calais out there, bro. He was still cooking fools. I get Calais in a second. If I had to give up Aleem McNeil, get Calais Campbell, and get Max Crosby, I might just do that, bro. I might just do that. I'm just saying. I wonder if Kappa was brought in to help Shep. Not sure. Shep got a fair shake last year. He could not have picked those players. If he did, fire him now. From Baz Mouse, how many teams have 2 elite DEs? But how many teams have 2 elite safeties? That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Who cares, Brad? Who cares? We don't care about how many teams. We care about what our teams. You getting shown up by Howie Roseman and Les Snead. How embarrassing is it that you have been, that to me, if I'm telling you this, and we'll wrap up the show. We in overtime right now. I'm going to tell you this. Brad Owens and Dan Campbell, as a unit, are not safe. They're not safe. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell is. As a unit, they're not safe. They're not safe. And I guarantee you that they're having conversations about their future and how do they earn more time in Detroit. And right now, like I said the other day, Sheila has done nothing for me to make me question her. She hasn't. She has not done. She fired Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. The guy so that was my first test. My first test. If Bob Quinn would have stayed the Lions general manager, I would have not watched until he was fired. Lions Syndicate would not exist. This channel would not exist. I would not be talking about the Detroit Lions because I wouldn't have started. I would have walked away from this team until he was fired because I would have been like, you fired Jim Caldwell to bring in that bum to then keep the guy that brought in the bum? No. Nope. That's when I revoke my support. But she didn't do that. She fired both of them. Then she does what her mama should have done. Her daddy should have done. She put a team in place to pick the right people, to help pick the right people. And we got the right people, or so we thought. I think we got the right coach. I think our GM is on the precipice of greatness. He just got to take his head out of his own behind. If he does that, and he makes the right moves, this year he still has time, but he is on the brink of out of time. He is out of time like the Denzel Washington movie with Paula Patton. He is out of time, bro. He needs could you imagine a timeline where because imagine a timeline where the Jacksonville Jaguars take Aiden Hutchinson. Imagine that timeline. Our defensive line, what would it even look like? Would that have promoted Brad Holmes to be more aggressive because we don't have an elite defensive end? Or what? I wonder sometimes, what is the timeline that we don't draft Broderick Martin? What is the timeline? Even the timeline that Josh Reynolds don't drop a pass. I think about all that stuff. But those are fantasies. The reality is Brad Holmes has 2 years left on his deal. So does Dan Campbell. And Sheila has not yet extended them beyond their first extension, meaning she needs to see more. I don't think it's free agency or the draft. I think it's what they do on the field. But I tell you what, we might not see Max Crosby wind up a Detroit Lion, but if we see Brad do something uncharacteristic, it's because his butt was on fire. It's because he understands how hot that seat is. Listen, what do we learn growing up? What we try and teach our kids, which we know we can't do as I say, not as I do. And your kid's like, but you doing this. You can't tell me nothing. Or you wonder, y'all remember that commercial, bro? Shout out to Rufus with the super chat. Says, if Brad would put the same amount of resources toward the edge position as he did the secondary, Max can be a Lion, but you said it's already big dog. Yes, absolutely. For all my 80s babies, y'all remember this commercial. The dude, the father comes in. It's a PSA commercial. It's a PSA commercial. Dad comes in. Da-da-da-da-da. He asks the kid, where did you get this from? The kid's like, I got it from watching you. And the father was like, he had nothing to say. He had nothing. I still remember the look on his face. My man had the little wooden box. The boy, I got it from watching you. He was like, and the camera was like, I remember that commercial. You remember that commercial. It's we want to tell somebody to do as we say, not as we do. That's what we're going to know. Brad Holmes can say all the right things. What he does will tell us everything we need to know. That's why I said by May 1st, I'm going to make a prediction on the fate of Brad Holmes. The fate of Brad Holmes will be finalized May 1st, 2026, after free agency, after the draft. If he did not move the needle of this team, he does not have a future in Detroit beyond 2027. Lions Heart account says he needs to make a splash and he needs to make it work too. It just can't be for the fans. It has to be to win games, both. Lori says, I remember that PSA. This honestly the same exact thing that happened with Myles Garrett last year, and he stayed with Cleveland. I don't think Max gets traded. You know what, Jacob? Kelly says, I remember that commercial. I got it from watching you. Yeah, man. The dad, the look. And I'm thinking, okay, if you step into your kid and you trying to check your kid for something you know you do, and you always got to be aware that somebody, like, they gon' know, bro. Like, what he thought he didn't know, and he didn't have like a little kid. He had like a teenager. And they seen it. Hey, Dad, I know you do this. The P word. Yo, Derek, you grew up near Inkster, Michigan, or Shacktown? I grew up near. I mean, I'm near Inkster, but I live closer to Inkster now than I did as a youth. Okay, so the city surrounding me was, so I lived off Greenfield in West Chicago. Greenfield and Tireman is Dearborn. If you go south. If you go north, you don't hit Oak Park until you get to 8 Mile. And then Detroit, if you go east, you in Detroit forever. So I lived on like the west side, but the west side of like the outskirts, like literally. So and then if you go west on West Chicago, once you pass Outer Drive, on one side is Redford, I think, and one side, or Telegraph for sure, then you're in a different city. Let me see, at least keep Max out of our division. You grew up where all the light-skinned girls live. Okay, so I want y'all to think about this as we enjoy the weekend and head toward the weekend. Is Brad Holmes going to do this? No. Are we even in a position to do it? I think any NFL team can do whatever they want to unless the NFL stops them from doing it. That's truly what I believe. The things that I've seen happen that shouldn't happen in the NFL, the trades that I've seen work and all of that, I don't believe that. I believe that teams can do whatever they want to, unless somebody comes in and vetoes that whole thing, which we've seen a couple times. Max Crosby probably won't be a Lion. And it's going to sting. It's going to sting because Max Crosby is not going to a rebuilding team. He is the Stafford. He has reached his Stafford point right now, where I'm not going to just any team. I want to go to a team that is on the precipice of winning, that they can use my talents to help us get there. Okay? I'm getting giddy thinking about 97 and 98. On the opposite sides of the line. I am absolutely giddy, bro. And I'm not like the hugest fan of Miles. Somebody asked about Trey Hendrickson earlier. Trey Hendrickson would be the easier thing because with Trey, it's just a money situation. It's just the money. But Trey is also 2 to 3 years older than Max. I think Trey will be 32. So if you want to, I mean, look, even Trey Hendrickson, if we were to sign Trey Hendrickson in free agency, that would tell me that Brad knows that his cheeks is hot. That's it. If he does something he's never done, Brad Holmes has never, ever spent any type of money on the edge position outside of Aiden being extended. You can go check the tape. He's never done it. He paid DJ Reader, but he has not spent any money. Brad Holmes has not spent over $8 million on the edge position. Marcus Davenport was 7. Al-Qadim Muhammad was 1.5. He's never spent more than $8 million. Brad Holmes does not value the edge position. If all of a sudden we get a dominant edge, even if it's in the draft, even if he uses free agency for other holes, right? Justin Simmons is still a free agent. He might be soft retired. You notice it's crazy. Larry Fitzgerald in the Hall of Fame, but he never officially retired. That is crazy to me. That's crazy. I was like, wow, I guess we got our answer. But if Brad comes out and he does something that we don't expect, that he's not done before, then I know that he's under pressure. C. Poole with the super chat, last one of the show, says, folks forget Sewell dropped to us because he opted out. Oh, that's right. That is right. Folks forgot that Penei Sewell dropped to us because he opted out of the 2020 season for COVID. I forgot about that, bro, because I remember him opting out. A lot of them players did, man. White says, if he goes to Philly, I'm crashing out. Be ready. Crazy Derek, my dad's childhood friend who we visit occasionally basically lives a couple minutes away from you. Yeah. Be ready to crash out because my prediction is that one of these teams will get him. I think the Eagles. I think the San Francisco 49ers. I think because the San Francisco 49ers really need a pass rusher opposite Nick Bosa. Their pass rush was worse than ours. It was worse than ours. That I would say my 4 destinations. I might have to make this a video on my NFL channel. The 4 destinations that I see for Max Crosby: Philly, Dallas, San Francisco, and it was one more. Hey, look, Chicago. I would laugh my behind off if he went to Chicago. Oh my God, I would laugh so hard. Crosby said Detroit or Patriots. That's funny. He wanted to play for 2 previous NFL players. If Max goes to a powerhouse team, mainly in the NFC, I want that. I want Brad fired, especially if he goes to the division rival. You know what, Lions? Now check this out. Check it out, bro. And I'll leave you guys with this thought for even more reason to cook Brad Holmes. Okay. I could see the Bears making a play for Max Crosby, right? Ain't that a kick in the head? That would be funny. But check this out. This is why it's so upsetting to me, right? If Max Crosby said all the things that I said earlier, got on his podcast, said I want out of Vegas, said I want to go to Detroit, specifically directly asked Brad Holmes to come get him, which I don't know if you can. I think players can do it, but the agents or I don't remember. It's some type of tampering thing, something. Okay. You know how big of a squander this would be for Brad? Because check this out. If you're the Vegas Raiders, right? Max Crosby got the no trade clause built in. Okay, that helps you. As a Patriot, you're probably going to want to send Max out of the division. Now, the Lions didn't feel that way. We sent Stafford in division. I'm sorry, in conference. So if you're the Raiders, I think the Lions are the perfect spot. If Max says he want to be here, if he asks Brad to come get him, and knowing that the Patriots, he has a no trade clause, and the Vegas Raiders probably are going to want to avoid the AFC. Oh, just imagine if he went to the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs are the most hurting for cap in 2020. But I'm telling you, bro, so a team that should not make it happen will make it happen. And if it's Chicago, I will laugh so hard. And you know what? Everybody in here, that is a fireable offense. Imagine. You mean to tell me if Brad Holmes, if Max Crosby says, I want to be traded, I want to come to Detroit, Brad Holmes, come get me, and he winds up on the Bears. You mean to tell me you're not going to be like, you're fired. Immediately fired, bro. Immediately fired. Bears, forget the Vikings. Packers can't do it. Vikings, they need a quarterback and a general manager. Ben Johnson, the snake that he is, he will pull this off. And I will be like, I told you. I will, oh my goodness. That would be every nail in Brad Holmes' coffin. And you know what? We're going to be like, and then this, because you know what? He's starting to like really annoy me. Just the sight of him. Y'all ever seen The Matrix? You ever seen The Matrix? Spoiler alert. Haven't seen The Matrix. You probably should. It's almost 30 years old, okay? There's a scene. Agent Smith, Morpheus, they done caught Morpheus, and he's sweating. They gave him this drug to try to make him tell where Zion was at. And he's sweating, trying to fight the drug. And he's sweating, I'm telling them nothing. Agent Smith, he has this whole dialogue where he talks to Morpheus. And he's just like, and it just so happens that Brad Holmes is bald-headed too, right? And Morpheus is bald-headed. Where Agent Smith, he takes his fingers and he wipes the sweat off Morpheus' head. And he puts them in Morpheus' nose. And he says, the mere sin of you, the smell of you. That's how Brad Holmes is starting to get to me, bro. The sight of him is starting to annoy me. It's starting to annoy me because you did all of this talking for us to get nowhere. Because when it boils down to it, we had, yay. You know what's the best part about the winning an NFC North title? The fact that we had never done it. The fact that we're no longer an asterisk on the bottom of a calendar. That was the best part. I mean, it was like, yay, I got my little banner. I got my little flag. You know what I'm saying? I got my little shirt. That was cool. It was cool. Yay, we did something. We conquered the beast. Then we did it again. It was like, yay. That was coming off a Super Bowl loss. Had a first seed. You know what's so exciting about the first seed? The first seed is like you pretty much in the Super Bowl. You get a free game to the Super Bowl, right? You have home field advantage all the way there. All the way there, bro. And we blew that. And now we're sitting and we got this dude right here. Define aggressive. You know good and well what aggressive is. Stop playing. Stop playing. By the way, somebody on Twitter decided to actually, I don't know, these people, you know, it's crazy. So I put the shirt out. You know, we make a post about Brad Holmes, and I put the shirt out. I put a picture of the shirt. Now, first I did the PNG of the picture. So then I wind up putting this shirt on in my response to a lot of people, you know, the dialogue on Twitter. I put the shirt Define Aggressive, right? Next thing I know, the shirt is up for sale on a different website. I'm like, wow. So I am going to do a slight redesign to the shirt. I may change the photo. I am going to make sure that my logo, because my logo was going to be on the back of the shirt. I'm going to make sure that my logo is on the shirt, on the product. And if they, somewhere on the product itself, it's got to be there. I don't own Brad Holmes' face, right? Hopefully won't get a cease and desist. But I'm like, dog, man, so all they did was take the shirt and slap it on a different shirt. It was crazy. But I'm like, wow. So now even my stuff it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway. So here we are. Just came up on ESPN. What did? Cliff Kingsbury going to the Rams. What is he going to be? Wait, Khalif? Wait, who? Wait, what just happened? Hold on. Man, he capping. Okay, you know what? All right. Oh. Okay, Cliff Kingsbury. Okay. All right. Yo. All right. So we got an extended show. Bro. Oh, he took the OC job. I didn't even know they need. Oh, wait a minute. I thought Sean McVay was the offensive play caller. He changed his mind, or he decided to give. Oh, okay. All right. Ooh, hey, I need to know. No. What? Yo. All right. Okay, he won't be calling plays. So what, he just have the going OT on Spike? Yes. Okay. No, we've been in OT, but we got to make this quick. Yo. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna make this video. I'm going to have a live reaction with y'all, and then I got to make a video on Lion Syndicate. Okay, because we edit again, y'all. We edit again. Okay. So let me bring dog. You know what? Oh, yo, you know what, man? Low key, dog. This dude, he's starting to annoy me. He's starting to annoy me, man. And you know what? He can stay where he is. He can stay where he is, bro. All right, let's get into it. And I got to make a video on Lion Syndicate about this immediately, because he's starting to get on. Okay, all right, let's do it. This dude, hey, I'm calling Cap for show, bro. All right, so check this out. All right, so y'all know that we've been hearing a lot of Max Crosby stuff. Okay. Now I think this is heat. This is heat. Cause see, this gonna cause some emotion. This gonna cause some relationship fractures in the industry. Okay. But apparently, shout out to the big homie. Sent me this DM. Okay. And apparently, Max Crosby was on Colin Cowherd. And I have not heard this. I'm going to hear it with you guys. I'm just looking at the caption. Max Crosby, here's what he had to say about his future in Vegas.
Bunch of stories because you're such a high-profile player. Tom Brady's part owner. Here comes Fernando Mendoza. You're in the news now all the time. So I don't know what's true, what's not. Here's what I'll ask. Where are you today with the Raiders? Where's your mind at? What are your thoughts? I don't know. What I read true, what I read. You're in the news all the time. So just lay it out there. Where are you with the Raiders?
All right. First of all, shout out to Colin Cowherd. That's a pretty good question. I would have went a little more intense, a little more direct, but here's the response.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you brought it up because, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. For me, in the past, I've learned, being too vocal and too involved with trying to make, I want this coach or I want this. Like, I've learned my lessons and I've learned from that. And like, that's not my job. My job is to be the best player I can possibly be that guy in the locker room every single day, the leader. That's who I am to my core. That's all I love. That's all I care about and love is being the best version of myself in that locker room and on the field on Sundays and in practice and doing all those in the weight room, leading from the front, not talking and, not leading every day. I do it every single day. So that's what my importance is. And nowadays, especially like this past year and a half, like I'm not talking about stuff like that because that's not my job. And I've been advised, hey, Max, I think it'd be best, some of the best mentors in my life, Max, I know you care a lot. You're obsessive about it. You want to win no matter what. But you can't control everything. And I've learned that. So now that I be quiet, now that I'm quiet, now I got random people making big statements for me. And they're like, oh, Max must have told him this. And this guy, for me, I just sit back and laugh because I know my truth. And when I go to bed at night, I have a smile on my face because I don't have to explain nothing to nobody. I've said it over and over again. I'm getting healthy. I'm in the building every single day. If I'm in this building before 6 a.m. and it's dark out, and I am in here until almost 2 o'clock, almost 8 hours, I'm putting in straight work, rehabbing, lifting, getting prepared for next season. Like, that's all that I care about. So all the noise, it's news to me sometimes. I got up yesterday, I looked at my phone, or 2 days ago, I look at my phone, and all of a sudden now I got a bunch of PR people talking about what they, what Max is doing. And it's like, I just laugh because if I address it, then someone's going to pick apart what I say there. So it's a lose-lose. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm getting healthy. I'm going to be the best version of myself upcoming this year. And I'm going to put myself in the best position to do that. And that's by taking care of myself and being the best version of myself on a daily basis. My family's good. My wife is doing incredible. My baby girl's 3. She's running the house. Life is incredible. So I just try not to, address certain things because no matter what, someone's going to, pick it apart and make it some way. So I'll let people do their talking. All I'm about is my actions. And my actions, everyone knows what my actions are. I do the same thing every single day, and I'm going to be the hardest worker on the planet every single time. So that's all I care about.
All right, so it was word salad. It was word salad. That's all that was. Okay, so I thought something different. It was just pure word salad. So from the way that I read Ari Mirov's, see, that's why you need to hear stuff before, and even if it's read. So Ari Mirov's tweet says, wearing Raiders DE Max Crosby wearing team gear and inside the team facility, a bunch of random people have been speaking for him this week, and he's just sitting back laughing at it. It's all the noise. It's news to me. Yeah, that was all. That was just word salad. It was word salad. So I thought he kind of directly called out Jay. But that's called PR. He literally said his PR people told him, not to even address it. So, Max Crosby, I don't know, bro. I don't know. you know, I'm going to be real, bro. He said something, and you guys might remember when we were putting him in photoshopping him in Lions gear and all this stuff. And he said something that kind of stung with me, you know, and you guys might not know, but he was 4th on my list. Max Crosby is 4th on my list. I'm just saying, I know that he's a guy that would bring the heat. Oh, thank you, Braylon. I see that you had tagged me like right after it happened. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, and I also see the Cliff Kingsbury thing. So I think that was a bunch of word salad. That's what I think it was. Oh, shoot. Bro, my bad. I'm thinking I'm on screen. I think it was a bunch of word salad, so we'll go from there. So Max Crosby probably will be traded. He probably will be traded. But if I'm Jay Glazer, I don't know how to feel. I mean, I know it comes with the territory, but you usually can't speak on things unless you know for a fact. So I don't know if I'm Jay. To me, it seemed like he burned Jay a little bit. So I don't know. But he said it's news to him. It's news to him. Charles with the super chat says, I'm guilty of how many times I'm guilty. Okay, I'm guilty. How many times you going to keep playing this game? That's what it seems to be. He just like playing games. He can stay there. Charles, I was thinking the same thing. Bro. And that's where I'm going to go. You know what I think? Here's what I think. I think that Jay, the truth, you know what? Lion Syndicate video coming. I'll save my thoughts for there. I'll give y'all a sneak peek. I think Jay Glazer was telling the truth. I think Max Crosby does not want to be labeled a traitor. He doesn't want to be Stafford. Remember, he said, darn if you do, darn if you don't. He doesn't want to be labeled a traitor. See, Stafford came out and said he wants to be traded. If Crosby is traded and he doesn't express the desire to leave the Raiders organization publicly, he gets to save face. That's what I think this is. I think that's what this is. What did he say? He said, I don't make those decisions. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. I can talk this today. Pistons play tonight. They play the Knicks. We will find out who's going to play, if Cade is going to go, if Jalen Duren can go. Hopefully we can get my man, the new dude, can get some shots off. And look for a Lion Syndicate video coming very soon about this here. But no one will look at him like he's a traitor. He's smart, unlike Miles. See, Zero, that's what I'm saying. So Miles was vocal. I'm not hibbity hoo-ha. I'm not going to do this. Now you look like a sucker. And we didn't even talk about Jim Schwartz. Oh, I didn't forget to talk about Jim Schwartz, man. Jim Schwartz resigned. He is resigning. Look, I respect Jim. He stood on business. He felt burned. He resigned. And the new coach is kind of a chump. I hope the Browns burn. I hope they burn, bro. I hope that they burn. He seems like a chump. Anyway, Lions Syndicate video coming soon. I will see you over there. Thank you, guys. Hopefully, I will see you on Monday. If not, but until we start getting some news, probably post Super Bowl, which is Sunday. But at that point, I expect once the NFL season unofficially ends with a Super Bowl, and that month in between the start of the new league year, I think we'll start to get more time, or the Lions will start doing more things like re-signing the player. So that's probably going to be what we talk about next. So look for the show to be, twice a week, and yeah, twice a week at least, and then we'll get back to the everyday thing once we start having some news come out. All right, appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on. You know what, Max? I'll see you next week.
Hello, good morning. I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.